So what you're looking at here is a 75-inch flat panel television that fell off the wall.
I'm afraid the strain was more than he could bear.
Buckle up your seat as I give you a day in the life of facilities maintenance.
So, we had a TV fall off the wall. I didn't hang it. But the guy who did spent 2 days putting the bracket up. I'm not even kidding.
And you know, I kind of feel like I could have prevented this. It was about 1.5 years ago when we had a part-time fellow here working with Eric in the IT department. And while I was working on other projects over the summertime, I watched him spend almost 2 days mounting this television to the wall. And if you look at the drywall here, I would have caught this. There's a seam right here. 2 of them actually. And I think it was a combination of putting anchors right on the seam and over tightening those anchors to kind of crush the drywall that contributed to the television eventually just falling off the wall. In fact, I may have actually looked at this and gone, with the weight of this television and the fact that it's on an articulating arm that holds it out from the wall, there's a lot of pressure here. We might have to reinforce the wall itself or put some kind of an anchored plate over the surface of the wall before mounting the articulating arm to that plate.
I'm just going to grab a tape measure now because I want to measure where the bracket was originally sitting. I'm going to put wood backing in behind all of it so that when Eric remounts the television bracket on that location, it'll never break again. It'll be super strong, but I want to landmark exactly where the current bracket was sitting so that he can put it back in the same place. All right, so this current bracket is 27 inches wide and 11 inches tall. And it was 29 inches from the edge of the wall, from the corner, and pretty much exactly 2 feet up from the countertop. There. That will tell Eric exactly where the bracket needs to go in order to orient the television in exactly the same place that it was before. And just in case this is erased, I'll take a picture of it. Okay, that's better. That is where I'm going to graft in the new piece of drywall. So I'm going to start by cutting this out, and then I will carry on with putting in backing in order to attach this new piece of drywall. But then I'm also going to make sure that that backing covers the areas where the support is needed to install this bracket again. Feel there's backing in here already, probably because there used to be a cabinet originally on this wall until backing was put in for that. Maybe there's no backing. Studs. The thing about steel studs is you can actually undo the screws by hand, because it's not like wood that they're biting into, which is why it's also easy to over tighten and strip any screws into steel studs.
And just to make life easier for myself down the road, I am marking out exactly where the existing studs are in the wall.
If you're marking on drywall, always use a pencil, and that way when you paint over it, it's not going to bleed through. If you use a Sharpie or a pen, that will bleed. Well, it's 6 o'clock, time for me to go home. I'll pick this up tomorrow.
At this point here, I am measuring my spacing between the metal studs so that I know how large to cut my pieces of 3/4 inch plywood backing that I'm going to slip in place. And if you look here, you can see that there actually was 2x4 backing in the wall to mount the previous cabinets that were up here. Unfortunately, that backing is now in my way, so I had to get a little creative and figure out a way to mount the bottom of my 3/4 inch plywood backing because I'm not able to slip it in behind the drywall that's already there. And here are my pre-cut pieces of 3/4 inch plywood backing, which will be hidden behind the drywall and which will provide plenty of strength for the television to be hung back up onto the wall.
Okay, all my backing is in place. I've slipped it underneath the drywall where I need to in order to fit this piece in and mud and tape everything. It will be much stronger than before.
And through the magic of video editing, you have a wall that's almost ready for paint.
Funny story, I came in here this morning and I had just, maybe about half an hour earlier, I had just finished doing my last coat of mud on the wall where I did the repair. And I saw that things had moved around. This bracket had been disconnected from the television and it was actually sitting on the counter over there. The tools were out, the hardware was out for mounting it, and I realized that, Eric showed up to actually try and mount this on the wall. And the mud was still wet. I'm not sure how long he thinks it would normally take to put backing in and repair a wall and then mud and tape the wall and then finish coat mud and then paint the wall, but I haven't painted it. I've got about 45 minutes until the end of my shift, so that's enough time to throw a coat of paint up on the wall there, and then I can go home and Eric can install that bracket first thing in the morning. Yep, this is what I'm looking at.
Oh man.
I'm gonna have to strain this. I just need enough to do behind that bracket on the repaired area. So if you've never strained paint before, I'm gonna pour this into this ice cream bucket with the filter cloth in it, and then I will get out as much clean paint as I can and then transfer that into my tray. Okay, I know what I said.
That I was originally just going to paint behind the bracket where I made the repair.
But I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I ended up squeezing out about a half a gallon of paint. Half a gallon's easily enough to do this whole wall, and so yeah, I cut in all the way around and I'm doing the whole wall. See, it started out with after emptying this bucket into my tray, there was enough residual paint in here for me to go, well, I have my brush here, I could use some of this paint and start cutting in. And then it started going a lot further than I thought it would, and eventually the whole thing's cut in. And well, it's probably time for me to go home already, but this won't take more than another 10 or 15 minutes, and I'll have this wall painted. Well, that's not horrible. Once that dries, it'll look pretty good. I will probably have to hit the wall with one more quick coat just because it'll be a little patchy, especially where the repair was done. That paint will absorb into the drywall much more than the rest of the wall that's been previously painted. So my work is pretty much done here. Thanks for watching. Did you learn something about putting backing in a wall? If you did, great. If you didn't, well, hopefully it was entertaining. See you next time.